Evening. Call to order this meeting of the Washington Township School Board. We have a regular meeting tonight, Wednesday, November 12th. It is 6 p.m. All board members are present. We'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then it has been our custom at the first meeting of each month to read our mission statement as a reminder. So Mr. Thompson's going to do that now.
The mission of Washington Township Schools is to nurture our students into tomorrow's leaders by cultivating environments that ignite innovation, amplify diverse and critical thinking, and inspire growth and achievement.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. And that is the new mission that launched with our strategic plan this summer and will soon be up there on the wall for all of us. All right, moving on to our agenda, we're going to kick off the night with our school spotlight, Eastwood Middle School.
Hey.
All right, thank you so much. Good evening, Dr. Taylor, President Fry, and members of the school board. My name is James Tutton, principal at Eastwood Middle School, and I am honored to stand before you this evening to share some of the great things going on the east side of the district. So let's get started. We got a lot up there, and I tried to put as much as I could without overwhelming the slide, but it's a little overwhelming, so I apologize. But I first want to start off by just recognizing some of the staff that have just done a fantastic job this year. Jessica Savage serves as our orchestra teacher. She is recently been added to the Butler staff because she's such a phenomenal teacher. And what she does with Butler is she works with a new and aspiring orchestra teachers. And so they've noticed her talent, just as we have. Laura Vanderhagen was a finalist of the George N. Parks Leadership and Music Education Award. Rochelle Hybor is our 7th grade math teacher who's done some fantastic work with growing kids in math instruction. Emily Thien serves as our English department chair the last couple of years, and she's done an amazing job of bringing in community partners, working with Newfields. We have Judge Barr is going to be coming to Eastwood to talk to students about immigration laws and the naturalization process, as well as visiting artists through some grants that she's received. Each month, we also recognize staff members. These are selected by our staff. The months of August, September, and October on the board for you. Miss Hannah Hall, Rashida Johnson, and Ellie Roberts. And one of the things that we've done this year that we haven't done for a long time is we had our Scholastic Book Fair, and we just concluded that and had a great turnout. So we want to thank Holly Verdine, our Media Center Specialist, for that work. Since I saw you last in November of 2024, we've had a bunch of things that have gone on that have involved our students. 87 of our students are involved in our school musical, Descendants. By the way, that is this weekend. If you haven't purchased your tickets, they are available. So we encourage you to come out. We have over 380 students that have been involved in fall activities and winter activities. We are working diligently to find something for everyone in our school. And so we're excited to share that we're closing in on the 50% mark for our building, and we still have more than 50% of the school year for kids to get involved. In terms of our fall athletic competitions, our 7th grade volleyball team made it to the county in their Final Four. Our 8th grade volleyball served as district champs. Boys tennis were conference runner-up. And in the winter and spring seasons of the previous school year, we had 8th grade boys district champions, 8th grade girls district champions for basketball, wrestling MIC champions the last 2 out of 3 years, baseball MIC co-champs, and softball MIC runner-up. We also recognize students every month for what we refer to as our Eagle Aces. And these are student awards that go beyond just academics. ACE stands for academics, community, community impact, and endeavor. And so we want our students to be recognized not just for their scholastic achievements, but for their citizenry achievements as well. And then just this past week, our NJHS kicked off their own effort to have a fall festival, and it turned out great. So we love that. Our school community is very proud of some growth that we've made on our Panorama student data. And so feedback that we've got from student has increased in I think 7 of 8 categories since last year. We also started club days, which have been a hit with the students. So every month, our students go to clubs for the last hour or so of the day. And these clubs are designed by the teachers and chosen by the students. And I listed a number of clubs that we have up here. And what I have found over the course of this first semester is that our students are very food motivated. So any opportunity to incorporate food into a club has been very popular among the students. We also have a climate and culture committee. It's been a very important effort that I have encouraged our staff to be a part of, and they are doing so much to make Eastwood a great community, not just for the students, but also for the staff. So things like the chili cook-off, by the way, this happened this last e-learning day, and congratulations to Laura Vanderhagen, who's on the board for her efforts in music education. She won our chili cook-off this past November. Video game day, spirit days, and staff members of the month were all some of the things that they put together. In terms of achievement, we are very excited to announce that the spring summative data showed the highest proficiency scores in English and math at Eastwood since pre-COVID numbers. And so we're very excited for the work that our staff and students have done to show proficiency in those areas. Much of the work that we're doing this year through our school improvement plan focuses on learning objectives and success criteria as elements of teacher clarity. There's a lot of support out there for the effects of this. Doing this well grows students 2 years growth in a single year's time. So it's a very powerful movement that we want our teachers to embrace, and they have done a great job with it. Next semester, we look at focusing on student ownership of data and conferencing. So those are going to be some big lifts that I think our staff will benefit from, and absolutely our students will. iLearn Checkpoint is relatively new. Last year we piloted it, and this year everyone in the state of Indiana is doing it. And we have noticed that from last year to this year, we have increased proficiency in every area and every grade from 2024 to 25. Our greatest areas of growth were in English in 6th grade, and students in 6th grade have grown. We have 13.4, an increase of 13.4 students meeting proficiency. And in math, we have 11.8% more than last year meeting proficiency. And included in those numbers are our 7th grade math numbers, which are the highest in the district. So we're very excited about that. We've also had reductions in all areas of suspension and expulsion since last year. So very great things going on. As part of our school improvement plan, one of the things that we notice is that we need to strengthen our Tier 1 instruction. And that's a good part of the work that we're doing through the teacher clarity work through our school improvement plan. We also want to make sure that our students that have English as a new language are getting the proper support in their class so that they can overcome some of the language barriers to be able to demonstrate proficiency in English and math. And so those are 2 big areas. And then our special education department is putting a lot of work into designing instruction for students to meet their very individual needs. And that is a big lift that our special education teachers have taken on. And they're very committed to that work. So those are some areas that we're still working on, of course, over the course of the year. In terms of promising practices that are showing closures for the achievement gap, one of the things that I would be remiss to mention or not to mention is that when you look at our African-American population from 6th grade in the area of math to 7th grade, we increased that subgroup's proficiency by 22.9 percentage points. That is 1 in 4 students that did not meet proficiency in 6th 6th grade met it in 7th grade, which is astounding to me. So incredible work that's going on there. As part of our teacher clarity effort, our teachers are posting their learning objectives. We're having them interact and we're increasing those numbers. So it is clear what students will demonstrate and learn over the course of that class period. And as I mentioned earlier, we have the introduction of Club Day. And we know that a sense of belonging in middle school is one of those challenges that all of middle school students experience in some way, shape, or form. And so this effort has been received well by our students and our staff. And we're looking forward to kind of concluding this year and then setting up a new batch of Club Days for the spring. Now my favorite part, recognizing those that have helped make this happen. So the first person I would like to recognize, and I appreciate the portrait of a panther description, is Emery Trotter Woodford. So Emery, please make your way up to Dr. Taylor. So Emery is involved in all aspects of our school. He's a member of our NJHS. He was in cross country in the fall. He's in the musical right now, and we had to get special permission for him to be here today because this is Tech Week. And if you've ever been part of a musical, you do not miss Tech Week. So we're going to get him out of here as soon as the handshaking is done so you can get there. You can see he's part of our band, and he's also wrestling in this winter. So he just is incredibly involved. But on top of that, he is mature beyond his years. He shows leadership in all that he does. He asks great questions. He is just an incredibly dynamic student. And we are so excited, not only for what he can continue to do at Eastwood, but for his future at North Central and the amazing things that we know he's going to do in North Central.
Parents or grandma?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's give Emery another round of applause. All right, now you need to get out of here and go tell Miss Darbro I sent you on your way. Just drive safe. I would also like to recognize Miss Lydia Bell. Lydia? Yes, for our above and beyond parent recognition. So Lydia is our PTO president, outgoing president is what we refer to, but she served in the PTO for the last couple of years and just having someone like this in my life is great. She sent me a text this morning saying, just confirming, I didn't get that email you said you're going to send me about being there tonight. Yes, you hear. But that is how she runs everything, just with great order and great sense of care for all of those involved. And she's always wanting to know how she can better support and how the PTO can better support our staff and the students that they serve. And I really appreciate our time working together and all that you've done to support Eastwood. Thank you, Lydia.
Thanks so much.
We're very grateful. Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
For our supportive partnership recognition, I'd like to ask Reverend Rodney Frieden and Jane Cookson to come up. They are representing Epworth United Methodist Church, and they are a quiet partner in our building. They are always ready to help, whether it's materials for students or the food bags that have been part of so many of our students' weekends, and making sure that they are fed, that their families are fed, and it's never been an issue of if. It's never been an issue of if. Our social worker just calls Jane and says, Jane, we need some bags. And then we have bags magically appear. So I know our staff may not always know exactly what that looks like in the building, but our students that get those benefits are greatly appreciative, as am I. So thank you for supporting Eastwood community and the work that you've done within your congregation to make that an important part of your work at Epworth. Not so fast. And I was really excited to see this slide show up in our presentation. So as so many of you know, Washington Township School Foundation is an incredible partner to the district, and Eastwood has reaped the benefits of that partnership. Matter of fact, I need to give Emily a call when I leave here about some other stuff. But anyway, as you can see up there, our school has benefited from the Teachers Treasures partnership, securing over $10,000 in school supplies. We have 8 Eastwood staff members who've taken advantage of the Donors Choose effort, valuing over $4,000. This past year, we had one focus grant totaling $1,200, but don't worry, we made up for it. This year, we've already received 4 grants totaling $8,800. And one of those grants is helping teachers get the materials for the club days that we've been utilizing over the course of this first semester. So we're very appreciative of the, not just the partnership, but the generosity of the foundation. And I keep telling our staff, like, just write the grant. Just write the grant. They want to help you. They want to give you money to do the things that you want to do. And they've been very generous with us. And I appreciate all that the Washington Township Schools Foundation has given to Eastwood. And I think that's it. So thank you so much, board. What's that?
I know you thought you were done, but you're not.
I did
quite
think I
done.
was done.
And I promise I don't do this every time, but sometimes when these come, there is something in here that stops me in my tracks.
Okay.
Actually happened last time too, so I don't want to show favoritism to Northview. Can you go back to slide 6? Because we have the community here especially, I wish you'd put it in yellow and bold.
Yeah, I know.
I want everybody in this room to look at that 22.9%. And I literally just want to take a second for us to sit here and appreciate the gravity of that. And not only think about that number, but think about how many students is that who are on a whole new trajectory in just 1 year because of that. Sorry, I'm just me taking a point of privilege to say, wow, when there's something amazing here, I want to emphasize it. And with all these members of the community here, just make sure it doesn't get lost.
Well, all credit goes to Rochelle Hybor and Jenny Marsh and the support staff that they have. They're going into those classrooms. They are working tirelessly to meet the needs of our students. And so many of our staff are doing that each and every day. I really appreciate that and calling that out. It is something that is very important to us. So
thank you. Now I will release you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Eastwood Eagles.
All right, moving on. The next item on the agenda is our superintendent's announcement.
Yeah, way to go, Eastwood Eagles. Thank you for that. Good evening, community. I have just a few announcements here this evening. So I wanted to put on the board's radar a list of upcoming Indiana School Boards Association events starting next semester. So as our protocols have been in our past practices, please let Miss Wilson know if you'd like to attend any of those and she'll get you registered. November is always packed full of events. It's an exciting time of year, but I wanted to put a couple of events on your radar. Extremely excited for tomorrow night. We have our adult education graduation commencement in the Burge Auditorium at 7 p.m. So I'm looking forward to being at that, as well as Mr. Tutton spoke about, we have another musical coming up. We have The Descendants that starts Thursday and goes all the way through Sunday. So there's a link there if you'd like to get more information relative to that event. We have our Washington Township Schools Foundation Bash on Saturday. That's our annual fundraising, big fundraising event. So if you can click on that link for further details. It's through the decades. That's the theme this year. And I will tell you, the executive leadership team for this district is going to bring it with their outfits for the through the decades theme. I almost gave it away there, but we're excited for that and always have a good time at the Bash. I was honored to be a guest speaker at the Greenbrier Veterans Day program this past Sunday. I wanted to give a shout out to Greenbrier music teacher extraordinaire, Mr. Bush, and the fantastic staff there for facilitating a special program. It was very heartwarming and a celebratory event with many veterans in attendance. I always appreciate how comprehensive Mr. Bush is in incorporating lots of different mediums in the arts. So we saw students singing, we saw students dancing, we saw staff singing, we saw poetry being recited, and you can't have an event at Greenbrier without the buckets. And so we got to bang on some buckets there at that event, and always appreciate some big partners of the district, St. Luke's United Methodist Church, for hosting, because our students got to be on a nice big stage to demonstrate how incredibly gifted they are. So that was a great event. Also wanted to give you an update on school accountability and the letter grade structure. That's in draft 2 form. There's a 1-pager link there that breaks down the proposed structure. As far as timeline goes, we're getting close to that vote. So November 17th ends the final round of feedback. And then December 10th, they go for a vote, and that will go into effect for this school year. So we will have our schools being graded, given letter grades this school year, if that vote goes forward. I wanted to also draw your attention to a nice news story on Community Coat Drive there that the RTV6 did, and some of our school social workers were involved in that interview, and just a nice testament to how our community is supporting our students and our families. And then finally, probably the highlight always for your reviewing pleasure is a construction update by Mr. Boots through November 13th, 2025. So that is it for my superintendent announcements this evening, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you, Dr. Taylor. The next item on the agenda is comments from the public. We do ask folks to sign in if they are intending to speak. We did not have any signups. However, if anybody was here tonight wishing to address the board in public comment, I would invite you to make your way to the podium. Okay, seeing none, I will go ahead and close public comment and move on to our consent agenda, Dr. Kaiser.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor, President Fry, and members of the board. I recommend that you approve the consent agenda for this meeting. This consent agenda includes approval of the minutes of the October 29th, 2025 regular meeting and the memorandum of the October 29th, 2025 executive session, approval of 2 payroll calculation summary reports, a claims docket in the amount of $8,800,992.15, a special personnel item in accordance with Indiana Code 20-26-5-11.2, 3 individual compensation evaluation request memos, a human resources report containing, for classified personnel, 15 new hires, numbers 162 to 176, 4 resignations, numbers 64 through 67, 2 terminations, numbers 16 and 17, and 1 leave, number 24. For certified personnel, 3 new appointments, numbers 103 to 105, 1 resignation, number 22, 2 transfers, numbers 19 and 20. There is 1 non-competitive grant, gift, or donation to present to the board for approval. The approval of the Technology Common School Fund loan in the amount of $1,105,000, and information has been provided in your board packet for review.
Board, any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented by Dr. Kaiser.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I'll call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The ayes have it 5-0. And I believe you have an announcement.
Actually, for that announcement, I'm going to be turning things over to Mr. Tidwell.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board. With the approval of the consent agenda this evening, you approved our recommendation for the next principal at Greenbrier Elementary School. I'm excited to share that after a comprehensive search and an in-depth interview process, Ms. Crystal Stallings Morrissey rose to the top of our candidate pool. Currently serving as assistant principal at North Central High School, Ms. Stallings Morrissey has been at Washington Township Schools since 2022. Prior to coming to our district, she was a classroom teacher, an instructional coach, and an elementary assistant principal. She brings extensive experience in special education, instructional leadership, and MTSS implementation, expertise that will serve Greenbrier's diverse learners well. Throughout the selection process, she demonstrated a strong data-driven approach and a genuine commitment to Greenbrier Elementary. I have to say that before this search and interview process started, I did not know Ms. Stallings Morrissey very well. We'd been in admin meetings together and workshops, and I'd heard great things about her. But every step along the way, I became more and more impressed with her work, with who she is as a person, and I'm super excited about the passion that she'll be bringing to Greenbrier. And so I am very, very proud to welcome Crystal Stallings Morrissey as the next principal at Greenbrier Elementary.
I just want to take a second to thank President Fry, Dr. Taylor, the members of the board, Mr. Blum, the hiring committee, the Greenbrier committee, community. I'm excited to partner with you all in this next step in serving the Grizzly community. To my North Central family, I love you all. We're not done yet, but I love y'all. And thank you for showing up. To my family, I love y'all. And I appreciate y'all always showing up for me. To Mr. Rent and Dr. White, I appreciate y'all in preparing me for this next step. We're not done. So I appreciate you all. But to the members of the board, Dr. Taylor, I just appreciate you guys, and I'm excited to serve this Grizzly community.
No, you're
It's
good.
okay.
No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, whatever.
We're important. We're important.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait.
I forgot one.
Oh.
Jeez.
I will take this opportunity to say that if you were here for any of our special announcements or recognitions, although we would love for you to stay for all the scintillating school board business we have on the agenda, if you would like to exit at this time, we won't be offended. All right, moving on with the agenda then. Next item is always an exciting item this time of year, collective bargaining agreement. Dr. Whitman.
I'm just saying, I've never cleared a room like this. Even as a high school principal, I never cleared a room like this, so. Okay, you ready? Well, good evening, President Fry, Dr. Taylor, members of the board. I come to you this evening seeking your approval of the 2025-27 collective bargaining agreement between Washington Township Schools and the Washington Township Education Association. As you know, a summary of this agreement was presented to the board at the last board meeting and posted online per Indiana statute. I wanted to take a moment to highlight a few key aspects of this agreement. First, it is a 2-year agreement. Second, we are very excited about the base salary increase and stipend increase for 2025-26 school year. Base salary increase of $2,000 and a $1,000 one-time stipend that will be retroactive to the beginning of the 25-26 contract year. We also are able to move the teacher starting salary by $1,000. The bachelor's moves to 52 for a bachelor's degree and 53 for a master's. Now, because this is a 2-year agreement, we can also announce that the base salary increase for 26-27 will be $2,000 with a $1,000 base or one-time stipend. And again, we will be increasing the first-year teacher salaries on the schedule, $53,000 for a bachelor's and $54,000 for a master's. Now, Indiana law changed in 2023 to require a literacy endorsement for new teachers, with that requirement taking effect July 1, 2025. The General Assembly did pass a subsequent law that extended that requirement to current teachers who must obtain their endorsement by July 1 of 2027 or at their next license renewal. Additionally, a law was passed in 2023 that mandated differentiated pay. There's a reason I'm telling you this. Because of the requirement of differentiated pay, beginning with collective bargaining in 2025, we are announcing the early literacy endorsement, which is an additional $250 base salary increase adjusted pro rata for in half-year increments. We are continuing the milestone stipend in both, continuing, but in both years. We have added a mentor teacher stipend through this collective bargaining agreement. We've also put language in the contract that says if a teacher, when the circumstances arise where they are employed as under an emergency permit, they will stay at the first year teacher salary until they are able to acquire their teacher or their license, and then we would adjust their pay after that point. Also, in terms of leaves, I had the privilege of doing a maternity leave meeting today, and I got to tell that soon-to-be new mom that she was going to get an additional 5 days of paid maternity leave as a result of this collective bargaining agreement. So where we had given 5 days in the past, we now do 10 days. We did some adjustments to the bereavement language to give some more what we would call flexibility for situations where if a student passes, we want to make sure our Panther Nation staff are able to participate in those celebration of life events. So that language has been adjusted. And as I know, all of you are paying attention to insurance increases and premiums that are happening across this nation. To lessen the increase of the overall cost of health insurance premiums, we are increasing board contributions on a monthly basis to offset that cost to our employees. So you do see in the collective bargaining agreement the amount of contribution that increases in each year to be able to offset that. We did some work in the extracurricular activities, both removing gymnastics head coach position and then adding some additional stipends and increasing the high school athletic supervisor stipend from 0.12 to 0.14. So that's a high-level summary of what is in this collective bargaining agreement. But I want to take an opportunity right now to thank the representatives from WTEA. President Dean is here now. And also our team who served on the bargaining unit negotiations group. Assistant Director Shauna Red is here. Miss CFO Becky Smith is here. And of course, Dr. Kaiser. And did I get everybody else? Wait. Oh, and Laura is here. Laura Vanderhagen also was on our team. We had a really good experience focusing on what was best for Panthers, both our educators and our students as well. So that concludes the presentation of our collective bargaining agreement. I'd be happy to take any questions that you may have at this time.
Board, any questions?
No questions, but thank you guys again for all the hard work you put into this. Just knowing that you really put the teachers first and put our students in there and just made this work for everyone. So I think I can speak on behalf of my colleagues when I say thank you.
I'll also just make a quick comment. I do want to point out that there are many districts giving no raises at all this year due to all the challenges from our legislature and property tax reform and all those good things. So I know it was a big relief for all of us to be able to come forward and still continue to show our teachers that we appreciate them and continue to increase their salary appropriately. And I'm very grateful that as a district, we are in a better spot to take care of our teachers than a lot of other ones are in this day and age. So thank you for that as well. Any further discussion or questions? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the approval of the 2025 to 2027 collective bargaining agreement between the Metropolitan School District of Washington Township and the Washington Township Education Association, as presented by Dr. Whitman.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor indicate.
I'd like to make a,
Oh,
here.
please, sorry, go ahead.
so as usual, I'm not against anything that helps our teachers, but because of my conflict of interest that I register every year, I will abstain from this particular vote.
Thank you. Sorry about that, Bill. Okay, I'll go ahead and call the vote now. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And abstentions?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Thank you. And I believe you get to stay right up there. Congratulations. And move on to our resolution for administrators and classified staff.
Yes, ma'am. All right, the second item is the approval of the resolution for the 25-27 administrators and classified staff compensation. I've come to you to seek that approval. I have a few highlights that I want to make sure I hit on that in the resolution. So I'll actually read it to make sure I get the details. So whereas the Metropolitan School District of Washington Township is recommending administrator and classified employee salary increases to the Board of Ed, whereas the board approves salary increases for administrators and classified employees. Now, therefore, the board adopts this resolution, which approves the following. Number one, approve the attached 25-26 performance-based compensation plan for eligible certified administrators. As a reminder to you, in 2022, the board established that administrators would receive the same per day pay that teachers receive. So that's calculated on a per diem basis, which leads to number two, the approval of an increase in a pro rata adjusted base salary increase in the amount equal to the teacher's fixed dollar amount of $2,000 divided by the teacher's standard number of contract days, 185, multiplied by the applicable days used to calculate administrators' respective daily rate for the 25-26 contract year, retroactive to July 1, 2025 for all eligible administrators. Also, just as we are pleased to recognize the hard work of our dedicated teachers and certified staff, we also are equally glad to recognize the hard work and dedication of our classified staff. For that reason, item number 3 is the approval of a 2% increase to our hourly wage rate or base salary retroactive to July 1, 2025 for all eligible classified employees. We'd also seek the approval in this resolution of a one-time stipend of $100 to all eligible classified hourly substitute and temporary employees in employee group 210. $400 to all eligible classified hourly employees, including those employees paid in the bus driver or bus assistant pay scales. So if you remember, their pay scales stay frozen, but we want to make sure we are giving them the one-time stipend. And also $700 to all eligible classified salaried employees for 25-26. We also include the approval of annual milestone bonuses to be paid in 25-26 to all eligible classified employees and administrators. Those amounts are listed and did not change. And then we are also including in this the approval of attached contracts or work provisions for the following staff: our CFO, Ms. Rebecca Smith, and our Director of Transportation, Ms. Marla Palacios. And since the approved compensation package does contain a one-time stipend for some employees, the board authorizes the school district to utilize funds from the Education Fund, Operating Referendum Fund, Operations Fund, Rainy Day Fund, and/or the appropriate grant funds in sufficient amounts for those one-time stipend payments. This concludes my presentation of the resolution for administrator and staff compensation. I am happy to take any questions you may have.
Question? Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the resolution for 2025-2027 administrators and classified staff compensation as presented by Dr. Whitman.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it 5-0. Thank you. All right, moving on. Item number 3 on the agenda, resolution for supplemental pay.
So this particular resolution is seeking your approval. And to give you some explanation, as we work through the collective bargaining process this year, we agreed collaboratively that the Teachers Association to provide supplemental pay to a teacher whose employment circumstances place them out of alignment with other teachers with similar years of teaching experience as other teachers at Washington Township. As you know, the collective bargaining agreement is designed to be applicable to all Washington Township teachers, and we would avoid the provision that would narrowly tailor to an individual's compensation. So for that reason, we did not include that in the collective bargaining agreement, thus bringing this resolution to you at this time. Based on that, both the administration and WTEA felt it more appropriate to address this issue via supplemental pay. As always, the details regarding this resolution are present in your board documents this evening. And again, happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions, board? Sorry, do I have a motion?
Move to approve the resolution for supplemental pay as presented by Dr. Whitman.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it 5-0. Thank you. And moving on, I believe this brings us to the last of our annual compensation items, resolution for board member compensation.
Yes, ma'am. I am seeking your approval of the resolution for the Board of Education of Washington Township to establish compensation for board members. As you know, this is in direct alignment to changes that were made at the General Assembly and statute. So this is changes that have to be made across the state for school boards to be able to be in compliance with that. You have the details of that resolution in your board packet. We were making sure we were working with council to make sure that was exactly what we needed it to be to stay in line with statute. And if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer those.
Any questions, board? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the resolution for board member compensation as presented by Dr. Whitman.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Passes 5-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all your work on this. All right. Number 5 on the agenda, approval of our agreement with AYS. Ms. Britta Smith.
Yes, good evening, Madam President, Dr. Taylor, and members of the board. I am here seeking approval for an at your school, better known as AYS agreement. And this agreement is for extended care services in our schools. AYS has been a long-term positive partner of the district, providing care services for our families before and after school, as well as during summer and also other breaks. The term of the contract shall commence from July 1st, 2025, and shall continue for a period of 3 years through June 30th, 2028. The contract under the terms and conditions shall automatically renew for an additional 1 successive term of 1 year unless terminated by either party. In your board packet, you do have a structure of the fees for that 3-year period. The beginning fee for 2025 is, the annual fee is $18,150. I would also like to recognize AYS's CEO, Justin Armstrong, who is not a stranger to the district, and he is here with us tonight. And so at this time, I would be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Questions, board? I'll just ask, I don't remember last time we did this, but I assume this structure is very similar to what we've been doing for years with AYS.
The structure is, the fee has been reduced, and just like many entities, due to funding, whether state or national, obviously AYS is also experiencing that, and also to continue to be able to offer a reasonable rate to our families as well. We worked with AYS, obviously in collaboration with our CFO, Mrs. Smith, as well, in terms of the negotiated rate for the 3 years.
Great, thank you. Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the At Your School AYS agreement as presented by Ms. Angela Britton Smith.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'm going to abstain from this vote because I am on the governing board for AYS.
Thank you for letting us know. With that, I will call for the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Abstentions?
Aye.
The ayes have it, 4-1 abstention. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Kaiser, approval of fees for advocates of Marion County Public School.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor, President Fry, members of the board. I come to you tonight seeking approval of fees for advocates for Marion County Public Schools. Washington Township Schools has joined 8 other Marion County Public School districts as part of this collective since March of 2017. The purpose of the group is to engage lobbyists to promote the collective interests of the districts on issues affecting school children in Marion County to the Indiana General Assembly and Indiana state government. Details regarding the lobbying efforts of the group, a biography of the lobbyists from Barnes and Thornburg, the group priorities for the 2025 budget session, a cost breakdown for Washington Township, as well as all other districts involved, and a copy of the related MOU are all in your board documents for review this evening. The total cost of the fees requested are $14,693.70 based on our ADM count. This concludes my presentation, and I'd be pleased to answer any questions you may have about this time.
Questions, board? Do I have a motion?
Move to approve the fees for advocates of Marion County Public Schools as presented by Dr. Kaiser.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and call the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you, Dr. Kaiser. And moving on to number 7, which is also Dr. Kaiser, just a policy removal.
Thank you, President Fry. I also come to the board this evening to conduct a first reading of removing board policy G125, criminal organizational activity. This removal was recommended by our advisors at Church, Hiddle, and Antrim due to the fact that the policy is no longer required under Indiana code. We feel that the issues detailed in the current policy are more effectively addressed within our current student code of conduct. There are no financial impacts of this policy change. And once again, I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Questions, board? Do I have a motion? Or, I'm sorry, Mr. Turner, do you have a question?
And this may be, you may say, Bill, that's the way it needs to be written, but the way this is written, we're approving the first reading. So does that mean we have to bring it back again? Or
Yeah, there's a bit with a removal of a policy. I have just continued with a first read, second read, in case the board were to hear feedback from the community. And so to provide that opportunity, I think technically you, with a removal, wouldn't have to have that first read, second read, but I've just kind of kept that cadence, Mr. Turner.
it just dawned on me as I was
Yeah.
reading it. Sorry.
100%.
I'm okay.
Yep.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Move to approve the first reading of removal of the board policy G125, criminal organization activity presented by Dr. Kaiser.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, 5-0. Thank you, Dr. Kaiser. All right. Last action item on the agenda is approval of our third quarter financial reports. Mrs.
Good evening, President Fry, Dr. Taylor, members of the board. I bring to you this evening the third quarter financial reports. You'll see the individual months in your board packet. And then here you will see the three major funds, our education fund, our operating referendum fund, and our operations fund as a quarterly report. And these are all added together in here, and you'll see the differences of the budget order, which is the anticipated revenue at the top under the green. And then you'll see the budget for the expenditures under the blue. And then the budget quarter actual, and then the year-to-date actual there, along with the graphs that portray the data to the left. And then you'll see here, we're about 75% through the year, and we've received about 69% of our revenue. As a reminder, 2 of these 3 funds are property tax funds, and those, that revenue comes, the main time is June and then also December of the year in the fall. So our main funding comes later, so that's why you'll see that that's not up to the 75% revenue received for this time of the year. So that is normal for those funds. And then what I always like to bring attention to is the percent of budget expended. So we're under budget for this time of year, which is right on target. As you recall, during the budget process, we always advertise a little bit higher because of the unknowns. And then, of course, our goal is to balance our revenue and our expenditures as the year goes by. So you'll see here our fund balance is about 56.6 million in those 3 major funds. And also this quarter was, one of those months was a 3 payroll month. So it's always a little bit higher in that quarter that those 3 payroll months come into effect. And that is all that I have for this evening for our quarterly financial reports, and I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Board, any questions? Ms. Fry had to start.
Nope.
No question.
No, just thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, she's back. All right, we have a motion?
I move to approve,
Can do it.
move to approve the third quarter 2025 financial reports for July, August, and September as presented by Mrs. Smith.
I'll second.
All right.
Moved and properly second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Ms.
Thank
Smith.
you.
I'll hand it back to our president.
Thank you, Ms. George Davis. I appreciate that. Mrs. Smith, you ran through those so quickly. I apologize. Okay, that concludes our action items tonight, and we do have an information item tonight. Always popular, transportation folks. No, I really mean that. It's been so long since we've seen you. We said, gosh, we want to hear how well things are going. So I asked Dr. Taylor to make sure we had this on the agenda at some point this fall, and we would love to just hear an update on transportation. Ms. Palacio.
All right. Well, good evening, Madam President, Dr. Taylor, and members of the board. It's good to see you. Transportation is a team sport, so I also have the rest of my leadership team with us tonight. We have Mr. Mike Reinhardt, he's the Associate Director, as well as Ms. Kim Gaither, who is our Assistant Director. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of updates on what we have going on at transportation. First, our HR update. We have 84 drivers at this time. Well, I should say when I submitted this, we were at 84 drivers with a goal of at least 130 bus assistants, which our goal has always been 30. It's the first time that we have met that goal, so that's great. And for the bus assistants, we're currently training for their CDL. I can say one of them passed this week, so now we have 85 drivers and 29 bus assistants, and hopefully within another month, we'll have 3 more drivers pass, and then we'll be up to 88. That's the goal. We also finally have a fully staffed garage at 7 and a fully staffed office at 13. And we also have improved our retention rate, which I added here. bus driver hiring and attrition summary. As you can see from the 22-23 school year, it was at 28.6%, 23-24, 55.6%, and last year we hit 60%. So we're definitely moving in the right direction. As far as our 25-26 startup, the rezoning was successful. The schools that were mostly impacted were Greenbrier, Spring Mill, Willow Lake, Eastwood, Northview, and West Lane. Again, our best start up to date, and creation of deadlines and increased family communications have definitely impacted our success, so we will continue with that. Our celebrations and successive, we've had increased calls and emails from parents and community members sharing kudos for our drivers. Whenever we receive those, I also make sure to put it in our Sunday message so that our staff can see, yes, there are a lot of positives that come out of transportation and people are always watching. Also, there's been a huge positive change in our culture. Staff members are supporting each other more and more. It used to be that we would say, hey, bus so-and-so, I need you to help. And you can kind of hear the just tiredness in the voice, like, okay. Now, if we say base to whatever bus, they're like, okay, I got it. Or they'll call into base and say, hey, I finished my route. You need me somewhere. Or, hey, I still have space on this bus. How many kids do you need me to transport? So that has changed tremendously. We're very proud of our folks for that. Our new conventional buses are starting to arrive. All of our new buses that we have been ordering will have air conditioning. So hopefully, I don't know if any of you have been on a bus when it's hot, but they get kind of hot. So hopefully that might help improve our retention rate as well. Our garage continues a makeover. Right now, we are currently painting, long overdue. We did finish the floors. We have a new fleet inventory system. So we've taken a huge leap into 2025 where everything will be barcoded. That way, if our mechanics get a work order, they can just go scan the parts that they need, and then we always know what we need to order more of so that we don't have too much of something that we have to send back, but we have enough of the parts that we need. So it has been a long job. All summer long, been working at it and continue to work at getting that up and running. Also, and I added this one a little bit late, in January, I will take one more course, which completes my certification for Director of Transportation through IASBO and STAI. It was a total of 74 credits. So last course in January and I'm done. Thank you, thank you. Safe drivers. So we kind of upped the game a little bit when it came to safe drivers. How can you become a safe driver? You cannot have any accidents, disciplinary issues, and you cannot exceed allotted sick days. So what we did is we changed the safe driver jacket that our drivers can earn. And if you've earned the safe driver jacket, which many have, which this year they earned it again, so they have now a patch that we have added on for them that it looks like a wheel. So sticking with the transportation theme there. So we had quite a few that were very jealous and worked a whole lot harder the next year to earn that jacket. So the first year we had 31, and then this last year we had 41, and we're still working towards everyone. That's the goal. Once the bus assistants saw the safe driver jackets, they were a little jealous, and they said, what about us? So we had to change the game a little bit. And so we have the perfect attendance for bus assistants. As you can see, the cardigan is what was designed for them. The first year, we only had one, but last year we had two, and you have to have perfect attendance and also no disciplinary issues. As far as our challenges and opportunities, we are always recruiting. There is still a nationwide driver shortage. We have continued our Drive the Bus events with success, job fairs, banners. But for us, actually, word of mouth also works really, really well with our staff. So, but we'll continue plugging away. Receiving buses and equipment in a timely manner. We've had to shift who we order from our buses. Thomas was very much behind. To give you an example, we placed an order in 2023. They could not still complete that order. There are still 3 buses, so we're moving away more from Thomas. We actually ordered some ICs, internationals, at the end of January, and we will be taking possession of those here in November. So we'll see, new buses, but the customer service has been great. And so we just got to do what we have to do when it comes to things like that for our equipment. We also need to work on increasing the number of special accommodations buses so that we make sure that we have spares in our fleet. Improving our camera systems. As we receive our new buses, we're switching over to Gatekeeper system. Our camera system was not always functioning at the highest level, so hopefully with Gatekeeper, it'll give us some different opportunities like looking at live footage while the buses are in motion. We still receive house stops or other special requests from families, as they still say, well, the bus drives by my house, it drives by 80% of the houses. However, we also have to keep in mind that the more stops you add, the longer our students are going to be on the bus, and that's not what we want. And it's also less equitable, so we create as many community stops as possible while still staying within our walking distance guidelines. We continue to clarify all of our processes and procedures by reviewing and refining our standard operating procedures, our family communications, website content, periodic presentations to district staff. Again, as a department, we must educate all stakeholders on the operations, because once they know the why, then they get it. Then they do, and it just makes sense. So that's where we are. Are there any questions at this time for us?
Mr. Thompson?
Will the buses look different, the new buses?
Yes. We're ordering conventional buses. The buses that Washington Township has had are called HDX or transit buses. So they're the flat front, right? With the engine in the back.
Yep.
The new buses are conventional buses. So the engine is in the front. To me, it looks like a dolphin nose.
Yeah. So it'll be a nose, it'll have a nose.
Right, so it has the nose, the engine is in the front. It's actually easier for our garage staff to work on those engines with where the position is. But they do look different. We have one on the road right now. But we also have to do some more training with our folks before they get behind the wheel because the turning radiuses are different than what they're used to. So we are currently planning on how we're going to roll that out, but we're hoping that we'll see more of them on the road come January.
Mr. Turner?
So way back in the beginning of your presentation, you talked about retention numbers going up. Any thoughts or ideas on what you're doing that's causing that to be a positive?
Sure.
I mean, maybe it's the jackets or the cardigans, but I mean, what are things that you're doing?
It's a little bit of everything, but consistency is the big one. We have not strayed from our message to our staff. We remain a unified team. We address things in a timely manner with our staff, and they see it. There are no secrets with that. But we also do treat them here and there as well, even getting them as simple as T-shirts, hoodies. When you look good, you feel good, you do good. It's showing that we are a team. Together, we are a team. They also realize that, come talk to us. There's never been a time where a staff member has said, I want to have a meeting with you, and we didn't make ourselves available. So that's been pretty huge too. And we just want positivity. And that's what we say all the time. But we address things, again, in a timely manner, and we are just very consistent.
Thank you.
Ms. Horsley?
I don't have a question. I just want to say congratulations, because when you started and we were in a big mess, and that consistency and that creation of a better culture and that investment in your team and your everybody, it's just remarkable to watch. And the results, what you shared tonight, that's the result of your hard work. And so really, truly congratulations to you and your team, because it has been nothing. It has not been easy.
No.
And you deserve all the credit in the world for getting it where it is today.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to say, when I first began, it was rough, right? and Miss Gaither had been through the ringer. And to see the smile on her face every day now is incredible. To have Mr. Reinhardt just same way, I really like coming to work, which is great. But even our drivers have shared with us, it was really hard for me to get up sometimes back in the day. Like, but I enjoy my job again. And that's what we want to hear. So we are making a difference. We know we are. We will never stop until it's 100%. And we will always strive for excellence.
This is a perfect example how positivity can play such a huge role in changing minds and hearts. And so congratulations again.
Thank you.
Mr. Rossi?
Just a quick piggyback off of that. And I shared this with Dr. Taylor a few weeks ago, but there's a developmental kindergarten bus that comes down my street.
Mhm.
I think it's bus 41.
31.
31. I love her. I don't know what her name is.
That's Miss Kathy. It's Miss Kathy.
Tell Miss Kathy
Mhm.
that she comes down my street every morning. I am the lady walking the tiny dog. And she waves to me every morning. And she picks up a little boy named Jace. And she is just the best ever. But on top of that, my child was so upset that Mr. Peterson didn't drive his high school bus. He has not complained once about getting on the bus in the morning. So I don't know what's happening, but thank you.
It's good. Thank you. Actually, Dr. Taylor shared with me about Miss Kathy. So I made sure to find her and say, hey,
She's
listen what you,
and
and
street is a big U.
she knew who I was talking about. She knew who I was talking about. So thank you.
The lady with the tiny dog.
Thank you. It makes a difference for them. They need to know that their hard work is seen. And we always tell them, you have Washington Township. You are a big billboard every day. So people are always watching.
I had a question too.
Sure.
But first, I do also want to say, I think a lot of people know I'm a big believer in culture first and culture driving results and everything else. Sometimes it's those little things like the jackets that build it. But I think, again, kudos on the culture change because that drives everything. But I did also have a question, and I suspect the reason it's not in here, I'm used to in the past when you do these presentations, you throwing lots of statistics about on-time percentages and how many buses were late. And I'm guessing it's not in here because it's just really not much of a problem these days. But can you throw a few statistics out at me?
Sure. It always depends. We always go back to attendance, right? We do have some folks get sick. And unfortunately, sometimes when our kids get sick, they end up in the hospital. So we have 81 routes total at our highest and 84 drivers. Doesn't leave a whole lot of wiggle room, right? So it's at times when we have higher number of folks out that we do need to run some 1+1s. We try to be as strategic as possible with the drivers that can run the 1+1s. Office staff has also driven, including Mr. Reinhardt and Ms. Gaither, have gotten behind the wheel to make sure that we don't interrupt times as much as possible. And a lot of times it just depends on the elements. So Monday, we had our nice snow, right? Our drivers left earlier than usual. And thankfully, our drivers were not involved in any accidents. However, the number of accidents that were being reported by our drivers was very high. And so whenever that happens, they have to maneuver around in different directions. And then you'll see some delays kind of accumulate. And then it can be a domino effect to the high school tier and the middle school tier. But we have not really had anything abnormal. And we certainly keep an eye on things. We can pull reports. And if we see that there are buses that are arriving consistently late, we start looking at where it is that they're going. We've had to do that with a couple buses that weren't quite making it to North Central. So then it becomes okay, what stop can we maybe take off of their route and put it on another bus that we know is arriving on time? So it's constantly reviewing. Always. And we always have students being added. Our last student count was about 6,500 students that are riding. And it wasn't even, we weren't even out of football season yet. So that could change. Our next student count is actually going to be next week. So it'll be interesting to see how many of our students are riding currently. And some of them stay after, and we do an AM count and a PM count, but we know a lot of times in the PM, students stay after for activities and clubs and whatnot.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
I just
Go ahead.
just want to say thank you too from a parent perspective. I've seen like, so for my son riding from 6th grade, we used to get like sometimes no notifications at all to like this year I've gotten like 1 or 2 about the bus being late. And so I've just seen a huge increase or, in the buses being on time and all of that. So I really appreciate that. And then even updates like notifications if Find My Bus or whatever, the little
Here comes the bus.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here Comes the Bus app isn't working.
Mhm.
Like even notifying that, because that's Carter's cue to like, that's how he gets to the bus in the morning. Like, oh, the bus is coming. So,
10 minutes earlier.
Yep. So
Absolutely. No, we appreciate that. I've always said since I started, we treat our students like we want our own children to be treated, the way we want to communicate. We would want others to communicate with us. Leadership knows that, and not doing that is unacceptable. So again, we're not perfect, but we will strive for perfection.
I want to add one last thing. For everybody, don't underestimate the buses as a recruiting tool too. For families who live in the district boundaries, but are maybe considering private school or, considering one of the magnet schools in IPS or whatnot. That's a conversation I always have is do not underestimate how amazing it is to not have to, if you want to do pickup line, drop off line, hey, more power to you. But, do not underestimate what an amazing benefit that is to be able to have that. Because as you know, other districts around us have had to cut things back significantly. And so I just encourage everybody, use transportation as a recruiting tool for those folks who do live in our boundaries and who can take advantage of it. I've been able to talk about it a lot, and I'm always reassuring people like, yeah, I know it feels weird, like putting your 5-year-old kindergarten, on the big bus. But my daughter K-8 every day, and I always assure people like what an amazing job you do with those kindergartners in particular. So that's just another comment is I think for everybody, it's something we can also really remember. It's a differentiator. If you live in this district, man, you're thinking about going anywhere other than your local public school, it's a huge benefit. So
Absolutely.
all right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate it. All right, that concludes the regular agenda tonight. Special events and liaison reports. Mr. Turner, I'm going to put you in the spotlight this time and go this way. Anything to report this? Okay. Ms. Worth?
I have to say, I don't have anything major to report. Got a couple things coming up in the next couple weeks, but quiet last week.
Mr. Thompson?
TSF. I was trying to look at my calendar, but all I did was the Schools Foundation Board meeting. So looking forward to a school visit next week. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting the policy meeting. Thanks.
It was quick.
It was quick.
Policy meeting with Mr. Thompson, and I actually went to the North Central Open House. That was probably the most interesting open house ever. I got to meet and chat with graduates from like the 70s who just wanted to see what our building looked like now and how it was progressing. I got to gently persuade parents from Sycamore and Orchard to come our way. So it was just, I only got to stay for about an hour, but I did one of the tours with one of the students, and we just have a phenomenal group over there. And if you visited the open house and don't want to come to North Central, then I want to have a sit down with you, because our kids were really, I wanted to go to North Central and I don't want to go back that far. But it was a great open house. So kudos to Mr. Rent and his team for putting that together.
Great. Also pretty quiet for me in terms of formal meetings, although I will say I had the opportunity to have some really long in-depth conversations with one teacher and one parent over the last couple weeks who just reached out to me to kind of talk through some stuff. No major drama or anything like that, but had some questions or concerns, and that's just, it's always a pleasure as a board member to kind of be reminded, that's really why we're here, is to hear those people and hear those concerns. And it's always a nice reminder too, that rather than emails and social media posts, picking up the phone and having that 30 or 40-minute conversation just builds a lot of bridges and could solve 90% of the world's problems. So I was happy to have the opportunity to do some of those engagements this past week. And my parents are moving to Denver tomorrow from here. So that's been keeping me busy too. So, all right. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Let's go.
All right. Thank you.
Let's
Got a little aggressive there.
Sorry.
Yes, you did.
I meant